Hello, beautiful souls. This is Nikita Bhargav. Welcome to my channel, the Red Cord Twin Flame Central. I do apologize for the long unintentional gap between my last episode and this one. As you all must have been feeling it, there are a lot of strong energies and a lot of things happening, and so I have been doing my bit to assist and to guide, and uh, along with my teaching work and doing readings and all that, which left me with really very little time, and I do apologize. But there are a lot of exciting news stories and things I have to share with all of you. So welcome to my old subscribers. If you are joining me for the first time, I do hope you are going to resonate, benefit from what I have to share today. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment if you do resonate and enjoy my video. Okay, so today I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to be taking you through how I have understood and come to realize certain things vis-a-vis my twin. It's not going to be chronological, because then it will just get too complicated. But I was studying to become a past life regression therapist some 10-11 years ago, and most of the things that I saw was around that time when I was not with my twin, who I met years later, but it has unfolded in a certain way. So those of you who have kind of reached, after all your clearing, purging, learning your lessons, if you have reached the point of your core wounds, you will resonate much more with this, and it will also kind of show you how doing a past life regression session with someone who understands about twin flame journeys is really going to assist you to understand your repetitive patterns and why something is happening. So with my twin, after my life in Lemuria, I saw as a high priestess, and he was in the kind of Air Force. Okay, so when the time for there was a war that had happened, and it was towards the end of the Atlantean life. That's when Atlantis had then gone down at the end of this war. It's about that time period, from starting from much long ago. I'm just skipping to the important portions, and again, I did not see them in a chronological order, so for me to put the pieces together took a lot of time, and eventually I started seeing what it was all about. So there, when this war was ongoing, I was asked to lead the children and the old people across to a new land, which I presume is Egypt, from what I had seen in my past life. And it was a very dangerous task, but being the one of the high priestesses, and being a healer and one of the young people, I suppose, I was the one in charge of a band of people I had to take across. And well, with twins there is a strange connection where a honing into each other, like a beeper going off, is connected to the union energies, the sexual union energies. And so before leaving, I was sitting in the garden where I used to usually meet with my twin, and we used to be together, and we had many happy memories, and Yes, we had already gone through a ritual that looked a bit like hand fasting with a silver-ish thread that was tied on our hands. So I was sitting there waiting for him to come, because that is a signal that none of us are supposed to ignore. And he chose not to come because he was preoccupied with his work. And well, war is not a funny job either, but he left to be on his duty without coming and bidding me bye, or um, kind of, it's not about taking permission, but kind of having a conversation and informing that he'll be gone or something. He left without a proper farewell, and that hurt me immensely. And that led me to several lifetimes, and especially in this life, feeling that the man is choosing his work or his obligations, his responsibilities over me. So that would make me kind of dislike, much though it's very ironical how to explain it, that I respect professionalism, discipline. I'm the daughter of a Capricorn, and I love my dad's work ethics and how disciplined he is, how meticulous he is, how he takes care of everything step by step. But I also felt, even for my father, that because of his dedication to his work, somewhere his emotional life took a backseat, which included his family time. That we did not get to go on picnics or do things together or create certain kind of memories or be playful and be that kind of family, because of his extreme dedication to his work. So imagine how in this life the pattern is set into motion, right? So that we don't miss it. And so when I have seen some other lives, most of them I'm not going to be talking about, but yes, this pattern continued. And when, by the time I took the people across to safety and I healed those who were wounded and everything, I looked at the people, the locals over there, and wanted a kind of relationship that they had. And I started having this feeling that I was somewhere giving into my grief and anger, that maybe he doesn't deserve me, or he could have at least done this, he could have at least come and just asked me and said, listen, I need to go, what do? I know what your task is dangerous, do you want me to help you, would you like me to accompany you? And I would have said, no, go and do your work, and then we'll meet in XYZ place, and we would have been on the same page, right? Now, twin flames can hear each other's thoughts and feelings. That's an established fact. Whether they don't hear it, they just telepathically hear it. And I was never sure whether when he returned or not returned, because he was hearing these thoughts and feelings of mine and felt I am saying he's not good enough for me, and I'm somewhere rejecting him. I felt abandoned, he felt rejected. The game started from there. Okay, then we were reincarnated a couple of times. One was bizarrely like a replication of this life. Again, he was a pilot. Again, there was a war that he was involved with. Here, although I was probably a single woman, a single as in didn't have family members and stuff, and when he left, his plane crashed or something, he was injured and he passed away. And again, I was left not really sure of what happened to him. Did he not just come back? Has he betrayed me? Or did something happen to him? It was a mirror of that life, perhaps to complete or give it a certain conclusion which didn't happen. The next life, that I'm not saying they happened in this chronology, but these are the few lives where I was burnt at stake for not giving up my pagan beliefs and practices, where I was burnt as a witch in Europe. And the sad part is I was burnt in front of his eyes, my twin, who was my husband in that life. And I was not very old, though we had 2 children together. Imagine the horror of seeing the woman you deeply love being burnt alive in front of you. Now see how it plays out for us is over his lifetimes with other karmics and soulmates. He always has this deep fear that he's not good enough for the woman, that she will leave him in one way or another, be it in life or through death, and that he will harm himself either by taking his life, or by, when you kill yourself emotionally, is by giving into addictions, be it drugs, alcohol, anything to numb your feelings. So he associates deep love with being rejected and then having to face her leaving him in one way or another, and feeling all that pain, which explains why he would not want something so intense in his life and in this life, where we are culminating and bringing to closure any open-ended stories, saying thank you to all our soulmates and our karmics for all their participation. And that's why in this life we are doing things for them, we're thanking them for all the various lives they have helped us across and been a part of our journey. With me, I have carried forward that when it comes to work or responsibility, the men will choose that over me or love, to the point that I have chosen, maybe subconsciously, but then even consciously, when I realized that I used to go for people, for guys who didn't have a steady job or who were going through certain situations in life, because when one of them asked me, why do you do that, and I said, because I at least have time for me. And that's when it hit me that, oh my god, I'm repeating a pattern. And then I went, of course, I released it and everything, but I'm just bringing to your awareness how these things have been playing out. And if you don't study and look back in your life, you will not be able to see the patterns. So coming to this life, imagine my fear that he's going to abandon me, as every other man has walked out, or whatever the associations, and that he will always choose his responsibility and work over me, gives them priority. He will be like, she should know better, that I have feelings for her. I'm just sorting out and trying to finish what my work is, and I'll be there. We are going back and reenacting the first life over and over again. His bewilderment and feeling rejected, me feeling betrayed and abandoned, right? Then it came to a stalemate, and his fear of, if he gets deeply involved, or if he gives into his emotion, it will lead to a death, another form of separation and loss, right? So we both were in that zone when I don't like the word runner chaser, but give or take, when we had to separate. Now I was wondering, okay, I've come to this realization, I have pieced the jigsaw puzzle, I'm even seeing what had happened, I don't know what's going on, what else can I do? And I'm willing to see his perspective, and I would not have taken him away from his work, but he still has not listened to my perspective of what I was hurt about, and what I had hoped that he would at least come and ask or inform and give me a chance to express our love and him express his love to me and not just disappear. And even if he had come back, that he should have made a move and made an effort to connect with me. And I was carrying that and I was wondering, what should I have done? What now can I do to break this pattern, right? And having done Ho'oponopo and having done a lot of things over time, and doing Ho'oponopo with his karmic and everything, and not really understanding what else is left for me to do. And I have healed and done my inner work and I have released, and there's no ego and there's no, I'm not holding on to expectations or trying to control him or have demands of him or anything. But I kept coming down to the effort and to not making time or giving priority in certain senses. And I was like, this is a stalemate and I don't know what to do. So I handed over the situation to angels and God. And I said, I have really, whatever my awareness and consciousness has taken me to, I have done the violet flame, and I have kept clearing our energies and everything. Please, if there's something else I can do, please tell me. And because the only place where I am, like, I have understood his perspective, but he's still not given an understanding to my perspective. And it is not that I have asked for anything unreasonable. And so I handed over the situation, and then comes the insight that I need to forgive him, for perhaps it was not a deliberate act. What I've been holding on since eternity was that he chose or prioritized work over me. It wasn't like that. It was more of just an absent-mindedness perhaps. But again, I'm not saying make excuses and justifications. I was right in what I was feeling, but it's not about right or wrong. It's about understanding compassionately each other's perspective, sometimes agreeing to disagree also, but with love and in harmony. So the understanding came that I needed to forgive myself for jumping to certain conclusions, and him for what is perhaps his oversight. And once I let go of that one tiny bit, which though I had cleared everything, that one tiny bit, but I have not been heard. Yeah. And once I will be able to do that, he will feel safe enough to even listen and perhaps talk and express. And he will be perhaps more comfortable in explaining what was the urgency or what was the situation like, why he had to give so-called priority to his work or his responsibilities, even in this life, for example. And so I went ahead and I did Ho'oponopo. Ho'oponopono. I prefer to call it Ho'oponopo. It sounds cuter. The reason I told you all in so much detail the few lifetimes and how it has been carrying forward lifetime after lifetime, even with different people, and how the 2 or 3 lives between us, we repeated certain things and we were given a chance to bring a certain closure, but we didn't. And now the time has come, and as you have reached, and this, closer you are to, pretty much completing a certain part of your journey. It will never be 100% complete though. You reach the core, you reach your very first life, and you have to understand the core wounds, and beyond even the first life on planet Earth. I have seen us on another planet. So the reason why I'm bringing this to your notice, for those of you who have done a lot and wondering why are we still stuck and why are we still not seeing any progress, you might be getting a lot of insights during this full moon. And if you can go ahead and get yourself a specific past life session vis-a-vis your twin flame journey, I encourage you to go to a reliable person and someone who's used to working with twins, or understands the journey, because only twin flames can understand the journey of twin flames, not regular people, not even soulmates can get it. All right, so definitely try and find out if that a therapist of yours, herself or himself, is a twin flame or whatever, so that they can ask the right questions and take you back to from where the core wound is and what you're not being able to open up maybe on your own. All right, because there are certain promptings you will need to reach there, right? So I'm going to leave you today with a lot of love and light, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I look forward to your comments, feedbacks, and I do plan on holding some guided meditations. Please let me know if you'd be interested. There are a lot of audio updates I do record, but I've still not figured out how to upload them on YouTube. So if any of you know on iPhone the memo recording, if you know how I can post it onto YouTube, please leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And please hit the bell button so that you get notifications whenever I post next. This is Nikita Bhargav.